Well, as we've had to prioritize what we protect these past couple days, and especially because now I've got empty nursery space behind me where everything's been moved out, and I've kind of got an opportunity to see things from a fresh perspective and think about how we could make some changes going forward. We have this opportunity to right now. We have an opportunity to kind of start fresh. It's all about efficiency in business, right? We have to make a profit, and that doesn't necessarily mean making more money. It doesn't mean having the most offerings. It means being really good at what you specialize in. Hey, YouTube friends. What's going on? It's Connor at Incredible Edible Landscapes. This is my tropical fruit and exotic edible plant nursery in Palm Beach County. And today is the second day of the great Florida freeze of 2026. We got historic lows last night. Haven't seen temperatures this cold since 2010. We hit 27 degrees in this area. Some people got even colder. Even by the coast, it got below freezing. And that doesn't happen in Palm Beach County. We took significant measures to protect our nursery stock these past couple days, bundled up everything in different locations where there was warm microclimates. Some plants even made it inside. And it was a big effort, but I can say, at least at this point, it looks like we made out okay. We did see some interesting results. We saw some icicles yesterday morning on some of our trees. All of our bananas are pretty much crispy. Papayas all burnt up immediately. And I know our friends in Central Florida got nailed. They saw mid to low 20s. And a lot of people that have been trying to grow tropical fruit outside of its natural zone definitely saw a reckoning. And I know a lot of people are probably rethinking that decision at this very moment. That's not exactly what this video is about, but it's a similar sentiment, what I want to talk about. It definitely came about as an indirect result of this freeze. What I want to talk about in this video is prioritization and specializing and being efficient versus trying to be all things for all people and cover every base. What am I talking about? Well, Incredible Edible Landscapes was originally started as a backyard project at a house that I own in West Palm Beach. It started with me deciding to plant a food forest in my yard, and I knew nothing at the time. Got really excited about the idea of fruit trees in the yard, and I started planting, and my goal was to really just plant one of everything, try everything out, see how much food I could possibly grow. And I wanted to grow a little bit of everything. I had a whole collection that I started back then that is still building to this day. I've explored most of all the fruits that you can grow in South Florida and a lot of the vegetables and everything in between. Now Incredible Edible Landscapes has an inventory of over 300 different species. So we have quite a wide breadth of inventory here. Over the years, as I said, the majority of these plants have come from my journey and my collecting them and wanting to try a little bit of everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's been a really fun experience. It's been a fun journey, and it's still continuing to this day. But as these past couple days have kind of brought some clarity in my mind about, as a business, Incredible Edible is in business. We're a commercial plant nursery, and we have a huge diversity of offerings. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it has gotten a little bit out of hand, because there's a big difference between my personal collection, because I want to grow one of everything in my garden, but I've also been trying to grow one of everything or a lot of everything in my nursery as a business. And while that is attractive to some people, there's a limit to that. And so that's kind of the whole journey, right? Is you collect, you trial, you experiment, And then you get the results of your experiment, and then it's up to you to make a decision. It's up to me to make a decision of what do I want to keep growing for the long term. And while, again, this is not a direct result of the cold, because I'm still going to grow tropicals that are cold sensitive. The cold that we got is very rare for this area. But a lot of people in Central Florida and beyond are probably feeling a similar sentiment right now as some of you that have tried to grow breadfruits and jackfruits and mangoes and soursops way north of where they're naturally grown. I assume that many of you are thinking, I should have just stuck with the cold hardy stuff. Stop trying to do things that are a little bit too much of a stretch for me. And I feel for anybody that had any loss. Well, on a similar note, as we've had to prioritize what we protect these past couple days, and especially because now I've got empty nursery space behind me where everything's been moved out, and I've kind of got an opportunity to see things from a fresh perspective. I realize that the breadth of our inventory, while it's cool and it's been my dream to have a little bit of everything, the reality is a little bit of everything leaves nothing to get excited about, and it becomes too much to manage. And as a business, it's all about efficiency, and if we're in business, ultimately we need to be making a profit, right? That's my income, that's my family's income, that's our employees' income. So we have to be efficient, and that means we have to focus on what works for us and not just extraneous things that are maybe part of the dream, but they're actually big profit killers. So I could probably cut out 30 or 40% of our inventory right now, because I would rather grow 10 or 20 of the best plants that I can really stand behind, recommend to everybody in any situation, beginner or experienced. I'd rather do that than grow 1,000 things that 900 of them are only going to attract 10% of our customers. We'll get asked for a certain plant, and that'll kind of tell me, there's a demand for this, we should start growing it. And as a nursery, you have to grow things at a certain scale in order to make things efficient. If you're growing it and you can't sell enough of it to justify, then you shouldn't be growing it. So some things we've won big on, we've anticipated demand and we were right. Other things were just a cool piece of the collection, but really not worth propagating enough for everybody, because it just didn't make sense business wise. The cost of propagation material, soil, fertilizer, pots, labels, water, stakes, labor, and managing the whole inventory, and the cost of selling it for something that we only get asked about once a month, it's not worth it. It's all about efficiency in business, right? We have to make a profit, and that doesn't necessarily mean making more money. It doesn't mean having the most offerings. It means being really good at what you specialize in. Instead of dancing to meet the demand as it ebbs and flows and goes all over the place, instead of trying to stretch ourselves to meet every single request, we really need to be influencing the demand, promoting what is the best to grow, instead of trying to cater to what everybody says they want. While I understand the collectibles, and I'm a plant collector myself, and one of my original visions for this business was to be a place where someone could get, almost every piece of their collection all in one spot. And I still want that, but there's got to be a limit, because we're stretching ourselves a little bit too thin. These plants grow fast. They need a lot of work. They need a lot of maintenance. They need to get weeded all the time. They need to get potted up. So now that I have this empty space to look at, I'm thinking of a lot of ways that I could redesign it to be way better, a way better customer experience. And that's what it's all about. We're really focusing on our customer experience. If that means cutting out a lot of the things that are distracting us right now. Ooh, that's ugly. So anyway, let me know your thoughts if you have any comments on this, if you can relate in any way, if you're in a similar situation, if you have tried to do everything for everybody and then had to scale back. You can be really good at what you're really good at. Make sure that the people that find value in that know who you are. that's my thoughts as a result of this cold snap. Like I said, we did get some icicles yesterday. Our mangoes are, for the most part, looking okay. I'll show you some burn on the mango right here. Not too happy, but I don't think anything's gonna die. We did protect the most of our inventory because that's where our money's at, right? So we had to prioritize and take care of what was most important and what makes us money, what allows us to stay in business so that we can keep growing and helping other people to grow, because that's what we want to do. So I'm going to be making some changes going forward into February and beyond through the whole year, and we're going to cut back on some inventory. And on the other hand, we do have some new things coming up. We are going to start shipping this spring. We've got a lot of requests. Everybody's always asking, do you ship plants, whether they're in Central Florida, North Florida, or other parts of the country? We have not ventured into that world just yet, but that's the plan. So stay tuned for that. Another interesting wrench thrown into the mix with this cold snap is today is February 2nd, and this coming weekend is actually our biggest traveling plant show of the year. It's called Garden Fest in Vero Beach, a couple hours north of us. Not only did we have to protect our inventory, but we also had to prioritize our inventory for Garden Fest. We actually had to pull everything for Garden Fest and take extra measures to protect it. And I think we're gonna do all right. It's still gonna be cold all week. It's gonna be still lows in the 40s. So it's gonna be interesting. It was just a little extra spice thrown on to what we had to deal with here. I hope that if you're a grower in Florida, that you came out all right after this cold. Hope you didn't get smacked too bad by the freeze. And if you did get some damage, I hope that you are taking it as an opportunity to learn. That's what I'm taking it as. Cattleya guava with some burnt tips, but the plant's gonna be fine. So anyway, that's what's on my mind. We plan to make more content for you over the next months to come. Plant highlights, all that good stuff. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I was in the trailer for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Just waking up. This is where you want to go.